Hi everyone, Attorney Knighton here with Sterling Law Offices, and today I'm talking about how property is divided in divorce. In Wisconsin, property division is governed by statute, so we have to look up to the rules to determine how property is going to be divided. And it's critical that you talk to your attorney and let them know, when it comes to your property, what you think is marital or what you thought you owned prior to marriage or you were gifted, because that does make a difference under the rules and statutes about what happens to that property. The more your attorney knows, the more they're able to get for you when it comes to property division. So what is property? Under the statute, property includes real estate and personal property. So it's your home, everything in your home, your retirement accounts, any businesses you owned, life insurance policies that have any value, loans that you're getting repaid on, coin collections, almost anything that has a positive value is property. The steps to property division are as follows. First, you have to give a value to all the property that you identify. Then you have to separate out what you consider to be marital and what you owned prior to the marriage or were gifted individually during the marriage. Separate property is usually, again, what was acquired before the marriage. So if you owned the car prior to marriage and that was paid in full, you can talk about that being premarital property. Or if you were given money as part of a will and you kept that in a separate joint account, that's easy to prove that that was, again, separate property. Marital property is anything that is acquired during the marriage. And it also can be things that were acquired right before marriage, but the whole asset was basically paid off during the marriage. So marital property can include increases in separate property that increased during the marriage. So say you bought a home right before you got married and you made a small down payment, but for the last 20 years, marital income had been used to pay the mortgage. That part can be considered to be marital. You also then have to determine who is going to get which part of the marital property. So we're going to divide it all up. We're going to put all of the property together, normally put it on what's called a property division worksheet, and give cash values to all property, including retirement accounts. And then you split up the pie to give everyone equal value. So you understand not everyone's going to be able to keep the same assets, but we want to get to an equal division of all the assets. So if one person has a car that's valued more than the other, then we're going to give them more of the equity in the house, for instance. A common question is, what factors does a court consider when dividing property? First, they look at the length of the marriage. They then look at what property each brought to the marriage. If one party has substantial assets that are not subject to division, so if they're premarital or they were gifted or inherited. The contribution each party made to the marriage, including the value they made by homemaking and child care services, the age and physical health and emotional health of the parties, the contribution by one party to the education, training, or increased earning power of the other party, the earning capacity of each party, and the desirability of the person who wants the family home to be able to have greater physical placement time of the kids, the length and amount of maintenance either party is going to have to make, and any other economic circumstances of the parties, including pension benefits, whether or not they're vested or not, and future interests, and the tax consequences to each party for the property division. There also may be written agreements like prenups or postnuptial agreements that will determine how property is distributed. And then the court can look at any other factors it deems to be relevant. So those are all the factors if the court's going to look at a division of assets because the two parties can't reach an agreement. That's what the factors the court's going to look at to divide property. If your agreement is reasonable and you guys have divided it out on your own, the court will generally approve your property division. If you can't decide, then the court will use those factors as I just stated to divide the property for you. We always forewarn clients not to hide assets because typically they're found, and to the court you look like a liar or a thief for failing to have disclosed those assets. And sometimes people want a certain property division but don't consider the tax consequences, especially when it comes to retirement accounts or capital gains taxes. Make sure that you look at the cash to cash value and account for taxes prior to settling on a final property division. I hope these tips were helpful for you. If you have any other questions about property division or other questions about divorce in general, we have lots of tips and tools on our website. So you can visit us at www.sterlinglawyers.com. And I will see you next time.